into a certain tradition association, either church, temple, ashram, mosque, that is mainly devoted to group worship. The question is, what should be the practical relevance of my daily individual practice to my formal group worship practice that I have been born into? What should I place a higher priority, devote more sadhana time to? In the initial stages, when we try to go and attend any satsang, or when we hear about somebody, it might be in a congregational group, and it will help us, no doubt. Papa himself says, it is quite possible in a congregation. Your mind gets into silence and transcends multiplicity, and you feel there is nobody about you. Only you are there when you are concentrated. In such a congregation, usually you will find some person who is advanced on the spiritual path and is unconsciously producing a holy atmosphere and sanctifying it, as a result of which it is easy for an aspirant to still the mind. Therefore, for self-purification, it is rightly said that we must commune with the devotees of God who are constantly thinking of Him and who have attained some measure of peace and tranquility through union with Him. In such a company, we find great help and our spiritual progress is accelerated. So it has got its own relevance, especially when we are on the initial stages. Not only in the initial stages, as a sadhaka, when we are confronted with a certain inner turmoil, we will share our own experience. We must have shared this, but for the sake of newcomers, we will repeat it again. When we were in Chennai, attending Swami Chinmayanandaji's lectures after office hours, we were one among the volunteers also. So every day after 5 o'clock in the office, we rushed up to the Yajnashala. On a particular day, all the colleagues, our section head, everybody are very, very loving, and many of them used to accompany us also. On that particular day, they just wanted to tease me. So, okay. So they brought a paper, a Tamil paper, in which there were 3 photos of Swamiji, and a heading is, Iduvum Sannyasama, is this sannyasa? So first is Swamiji sitting in the ambassador, on those days only ambassador car. So he was sitting in the front seat, the driver is a lady, backside also ladies are there. The second one is Swamiji is sitting surrounded by ladies. Third one is Swamiji is walking, again surrounded by ladies. So these are all photos, not merely telling. So naturally, at that age, we were definitely disturbed. On that day, part of the mind was reveling on these, part of the mind only was listening to Swamiji's lectures. But as we were entering Yajnashala, we met a senior person. Both of us used to spend every week 1 hour, specified by Swamiji. So we used to do that. We used to prepare alternately. So we rushed up and told him, I saw a photo, very damaging photo, in Tamil, in Chennai. So I thought he would also become upset. He smiled and said, why don't you get it clarified from Swamiji himself? Nervousness will be there now. We were all juniors, 18, 20 years old, And Swamiji is a tower. So we did not. But somehow the mind was not reconciling with that. But on that particular day, after the Yajnashala program was over, the secretary announced to our what do you call it? Volunteers, those who are interested to spend half a day with Swamiji, they can do so. Spontaneously we gave our name, and they, when they put the schedule, our name was on the next day. Next day. So half a day we took leave, rushed up to the place where Swamiji stays, and then the host said, you don't have any work, but if somebody telephones for any appointment, you can get all the details and get it clarified from Swamiji. If Swamiji says okay, fix up the appointment. That is our only job. Rest of the things are going on as usual. Okay, we sat there. At about 2:30, we got a telephone call. The call was from a lady. She said she is the principal of Sanskrit College. She wanted to know whether Swamiji is available on that day from 5:30 to 5 to 6, yes. So we got all the details, and Swamiji was in the first floor, we were in the ground floor. So we went there, meeting him at a closer quarter for the first time. So when we went there, Swamiji was intensely replying each and every letter. There was no dictation. Then only I came to know that. Piles of letters were there. Each and every letter was individually replied by him. So we waited for him to open. Then suddenly, yes, young man, what brought you here? He said, there was a call from so-and-so. He asked all details. What is the distance between here and there? How much time it will take? Every detail was gone through. And finally he asked, we have to go there or they will come here? They will come here, Swami. Yes, say yes. Okay. So we went back, gave them confirmation. At 4:45, they came. The car was driven by the principal herself, and 2 lecturers were also there. At 5 o'clock, 4:55, Swamiji is very punctual. From first floor, he straight away came down, went to the car, opened the front door, sat there. He did not stand for any formality or protocol. Principal Ma, she sat there. She was driving the vehicle. These 2 lady lecturers were at the back. He looked at me and said, get in, man. So we were also sitting. We were going. Now, the soliloquy dialogue started. What happened now? Swamiji is sitting on the first. Yeah. Driver is a lady. Yeah. You are sitting with the ladies. What happened now?
What question can you raise now?
Beautiful. So everything got cleared. Yeah. So when we went back on that day, the same senior man who said, why don't you consult Swamiji? I told him, this is what happened. Now we got cleared. Then you know what impressed me was, even today I remember, these all happened 60 years back, but still we remember. Because he said, casually he said, you don't blame the paperman. They are looking through their eyes. So when they feel they will misuse the situation, then they think everybody will misuse the situation. So unless they raise themselves, graduate themselves to a higher level, they will not be able to. So he casually said, no grumbling, no complaints. So this is and he has been not only attending, we know him at that time, 2-3 years we were together traveling also in this journey. So then we knew the effect of Satsang, company of such senior devotees. So when we may get some uneasiness, for want of experience at that age. So here is a person, he must be about 5 or 10 years elder to us, but he has been associating with these thoughts, was doing manana, and he was not attached to any form. At the same time, he is well established in the truth. On that day, it so happened, during the lectures, Swamiji said these words, When you see the world through the goggles of limitation, the world seems to be finite. See the coincidence, When you see the world through the goggles of limitation, the world seems to be finite. To him, to others it need not be. So the person who saw this and who has taken this photograph, and to him, this is not the way in which a sannyasi should behave. Okay. So he made it out. And Swamiji himself, when it was taken, he simply, he is right in his own way. Swamiji is not asking anybody to come and sit, When they come and sit, Swamiji does not say no. Yes. And we saw it on that particular next day, the demonstration was there. So the question is, there is a relevance for satsang with like-minded devotees because they will have a lot of experience. That's why Papa said, silently or vocally, in such a congregation you will find some person who is advanced on the spiritual path and is unconsciously producing a holy atmosphere, sanctifying it. As a result of which, it is easy for an aspirant to still the mind. But at the same time, we should not be merely satisfied with congregational. The program is there in the ashram, we join and come back. No, it will not. We have seen from our own experience. So individual sadhana should go along with collective sadhana. Even after a certain stage, even we need not crave for any collective sadhana, because what is needed is a transformation in us. That will take place, that will get hastened only when we start concentrating individually. But those of us, who are devotees or not full-time sadhakas, who are in the midst of various activities, the mind is likely to point out, label certain things as not right, not good. So at that time, this collective sadhana will help us, because there will be some senior people with whom you can open up your mind. But at the same time, we should not be satisfied with that. Individual sadhana, individual manana is a must. So group worship practice is okay, but individual sadhana is a must. Papa used to keep on hammering this, that periodical solitude, even in ashram. Because in ashram also we will be busy with so many activities. We label it as seva, that's all, not commercial activity, but activity is there all the time. So everyone needs a break, and then solitude, where they are to themselves, free from all daily routines. And they try to pool their entire energy, attention on that which has inspired them. So in order to remember him each day, having been born into the tradition, the question is, what should be the practical relevance? So individual practice and group practice, they must go hand in hand. Another question, we have to practice that he is behind our every thoughts, words and deeds. Does this mean that he is also behind my tamasic thoughts and feelings of my lower mind from time to time, that I am also captive to it? What should be my attitude to these tamasic thoughts and feelings that arise in my mind sometimes in daily practice through the day? Until we reach a stage, if somebody says, the book says, or the Mahatma says, that he is behind our thoughts, words and deeds, it may be difficult for us to digest and understand. So in the initial stages, it is always preferable to place ourselves in sattvic atmosphere. Though he is there in everybody, behind the so-called labeled tamasic or rajasic, until and unless I get a balance, otherwise I will be tossed here and there. So until I get a balance, just like we learned the cycling, I have to be choosy. So whenever any rajasic or tamasic tendency overpower me, if it comes and plays for some time, okay, it's all right. But when you feel you are swayed by it, immediately get up and resort to at least some diversion. The train of thought should be stopped. A craving, a infatuation, some attraction, something like that, no? Immediately, as a sadhaka, it is preferable to get up and somehow have a brisk walk, look at the sky, pour water on your wash basin, on your face from the wash basin, and if it is too much, even somebody has recommended we have a cold water bath. That means the moment the Rajasic or Tamasic tries to overpower us, he in his own mysterious way reminds us to be he cautions us, and then immediately we try to ensure that it doesn't overpower us. Many of you might be remembering or might be knowing an alcoholic addict, when he subjects himself to go through the de-addiction program for 15 days or 20 days. After that, when he goes back to his place, they will form a AA group, Alcoholic Anonymous group. Each one will share their telephone number. And suppose the person who has gone there, due to some reason, suppose he knows he is likely to slip again, immediately he should dial to any of his friends. They must immediately drop every activity and rush up to him. We have witnessed this. There was a boy who was an addict, whom we know right from the childhood days, and he was in Bangalore, and we were told they are running a departmental store. So when we happened to go to Bangalore, we went there, Koramangala. So then we were happy to see this boy seated in a beautiful store. And we asked him, when we were talking, suddenly a phone call came. He said, "Can you wait for 15-20 minutes?" "Oh yes, I'll have to go out. I'll come back here in another half an hour time. We want to spend some time." Okay, he rushed up. I also went out. After half an hour, I came back. After 45 minutes, the boy also came back. Then he said, "You know why I went? This is the understanding with us." One friend telephoned. Somebody said something, so immediately he got depressed and he was about to go to the shop. Then he dialed me, so I have to go immediately pick him and shift his thoughts somewhere. Go for a walk, go sit in the park, talk something, And then when we know he has got the balance, place him back. Similarly, the train of thought should be immediately changed, otherwise he will slip into it. So when Rajasic, Tamasic thoughts, God will definitely make us aware of it. Because we are steadfast, though not fully free from its clutches. So he will make us to know, immediately we do something by which the train of thought is broken. And we enter, then suppose we then come back and look at the image of your deity or master, or celebrate whom you would admire. Try to read their biographies, some instances, something that touches and kindles your heart, so that the whole train of thought gets changed. And when we reach a state, even when it is welling up, we will be able to, God will give us the power to say no to that. So when you say he is behind tamasic thoughts, so then as a advanced sadhaka, we will take it that God is testing us. And then we will immediately send out our prayer. We will have some device by which we get connected with this thought. We should be vigilant. Papa used to say, the other day what he said, they have fixed a price. You have to pay the full price.
Yeah. No compromise.
No discount. So he has put a price tag for each and everything. So that means he will also test us, whether you are well grounded or it's only a fleeting. You had a fleeting experience, but unable to hold on to it. So what should be my attitude to the tamasic thoughts and feelings that arise in my mind sometimes in daily practice throughout the day? So initially, it is better to avoid. We have to be a little choosy, choose the right company. Without tom-tomming, have a disciplined life. Nobody need know. You must have your own Lakshman Rekha. Where to stop, where not to stop. But when we reach that stage, we don't have to. And then we come to know that all these things are put to test. We are put to test by Him to see that we are perfect. Day for yesterday we were sharing, yesterday or day for yesterday, when Swamiji, when Papa, after the intense struggle, when he got stabilized, and he went on Parivrajaka Yatra in quest of God, in the vision of God, in quest of God, yes. Then after that, what? So when he came back, he was in the Panchapandava caves. Suddenly old thoughts started coming. Immediately Papa cried. What is this? In spite of so much of austerity, why this is coming again? So it came down. And again after 2-3 days, the same thing happened. So at that time he intensely cried. So intuitively he heard a reply. No, not this. Intuitively he heard the reply. Why are you separating me? That means when we say that I am disturbed by this thought, that means we unknowingly, there is an implied statement, implied view of yours, that there is something which is not connected with God also. Anything connected with God cannot disturb us. So when we say we are disturbed, we alienate the God thought from it. So that is why Papa felt, in spite of scaling, he still felt, why are these things coming to me? Just like, Urbanji said, tamasic and... So at that time, intuitively he heard, why are you separating me? Is there anything other than me? Then Papa has written, never try to, you cannot destroy the thoughts, transform the thoughts. Then the moment you bring in that dimension, it changes its face. God is testing me, you are saved. Because you are not carried away by that tendency, that craving or infatuation or that particular down-pulling force. You will not name it as a down-pulling force, you will say, God is testing me through that. Transform your thoughts. Because we cannot destroy the thought. These are all guiding principles in a sadhaka's life. One has to be very vigilant, alert. That is why we prefer to be in the company of like-minded people, devotees. We try to associate ourselves with such thoughts. Suppose somebody is talking about exploitation, somebody is talking about the allurements, you have not tasted this, you will enjoy this. You have not done this, you enjoy this. Like that, instead of their company, we will try to choose where that which enables us to scale the heights, morally, ethically, spiritually. We try to fill our mind space with such thoughts as much as possible, along with our discipline. Because nobody is a full-time sadhaka. In the midst of his various activities, he has also included this. So every day he is subject to pass through different types of behaviors. Each person, later on we will come to know each person is behaving from because of the characteristics he embodies. The sattvic, rajasic and tamasic, these are the different tendencies, characteristics which are in everybody, every one of us. Proportionate to their dominance, our thoughts, words and deeds come out. So naturally it will never be uniformal. Never be uniformal. And normally we will expect, he should behave like this, he should behave like this, he should behave. It will never be, it will never. So as we advance spiritually, we come to realize he is helpless. Guna guneshu vartante in Bhagavad Gita is, he is acting, guna is working through the gunas. So he is helpless. So we raise ourselves from the individual level and start viewing it. And then with a sense of equanimity, we deal with men and matters. These are all something, these are all practical hints given by saints. And that is why we are asked to go through, rather than philosophy, their life experience. Even today, why In Quest of God is attracting so many people. It is not a tall talk. It is not a philosophy. It is something he is placing before us, his very experience. Behind various types of experience, you will still be blessed to have the same vision. Somebody mocks at him, he is not upset. Somebody asks him to get down from the train, he is not upset. Somebody again requests him to sit back in the train, he is not elated. He is driven to a particular place, he gets the prompting to go all the way, walking about 12 hours, 13 hours in hot sun, and then the darshan is denied, he is not upset. So through that book he is showing us, though there are varied experiences, he is getting riveted, grounded in that, insulates him from anything else. So instead of reading philosophy too much, suppose we read, here is a practical demonstration of that philosophy, In Bhagavad Gita, in second chapter, we normally hear, 48, samatvam yoga muchate. Equanimity is yoga. Even if I repeat 1,000 times, I may not be able to become equanimous. The tranquility I may not get. But when I see a person, even under provocative circumstance, when he maintains this balance, it will directly come to me. It's a practical demonstration. It's not a theory. That is why this, in our case, Puja Mataji's Guru Kripa, or what she has said with Puja Swami Shuddhanandaji had recorded with the Divine Mother, it's a perennial source of inspiration to us. Papa's In Quest of God, in the vision of God, at the feet of God, world is God, Practical demonstration, especially In Quest of God. That is why in 2022 he prompted from within to make an in-depth study of In Quest of God and relate the theme with our day-to-day life. What had happened in 1922 to Papa, why should I learn? What has its relevance to my present-day challenges, present-day duties, present-day commitments? So when I start linking with that, there is a sweetness there because it is universal. So to get over it, that would be one of the best suggestions, to go through the life experience of those who have scaled the heights. Otherwise, the philosophy, if you hear mug up and you will be able to reproduce in a forum. What happened to me? The person who says that. But when we go through the biographical sketch of a master who has also undergone many such trying moments, and he has been able to keep up the same balance throughout. Here, the only thing we should ensure is that we don't get attached to that person. We should, Papa used to want this, you should attach to the ideal. The person is appreciated not because he is a person. The person is appreciated because of the ideal he represents through that person. He represents an ideal. That is why we are attached to him. So concentrate on that ideal. And then revere the person, because the ideal is presented to me, is made known to me through this form. Otherwise, we get attached and we forget about the ideal. Our whole concentration will be on the physical form. So, in the moment we remember beloved Papa with a bliss absolute, the moment we remember Puja Mataji, absence of otherness, the moment we remember Puja Swamiji, embodiment of self-effacement, that means the ideal that has been strongly impressed in our mind. This is how they stand for. They stand for many things, but this is something, they stand out. And not because somebody said, we ourselves should select before having this idea. So what is a blissful activity? What is called bliss? What is absence of otherness? And what is the self-effacement? When we go through that, when we go through their life also, then we get thoroughly convinced that they represent God has been gracious enough to watch these inherent qualities in these saints, so that it is always a perennial source of inspiration for me to try to live up to it, Try to live up. Solid, it is a demonstration. It is not a talk. Umpteen number of instances we may be able to quote. Because when by their grace, when they are asking us to dig out these, then we get thoroughly convinced, it is not that somebody said, Papa is bliss absolute. No. Not somebody said, Mataji is a personification of absence of otherness, or Puja Swamiji as self-effaced. No. It is something which we have done, which they gave us by making us to do a little manana, by witnessing also. So that the ideal gets stamped in our heart. Ideal first, then the individual. Anything else? So why we remember this? These are all some of these that will nullify the negative impact of tamasic and rajasic. Very often, especially people like us who are involved in various types of activities, there is a... What happened?
No, I just want to see that the movement is still going on.
Oh. Why they are not coming?
That left side.
Left side. They must be...
No, that's that. They'll keep that.
The second course.
Yes,
You are hearing,
Yes, Swami.
Yeah, okay. We were in a different world, so we forgot.
Swamiji is led us somewhere.
Huh?
I did not hear. What, uncle?
Swamiji has led us somewhere.
Swamiji has led us somewhere.
Okay. If the secretary had not announced, it was still in our mind, And that facility was given only for that period. Afterward, we never had. Though we were there for 2, 3, 4 years or 5, 6 years more in Madras. This facility was given only on that field. And we were selected for the first. So that means, that's a hot, you get it out, get it cleared. So that means the finger of God is also working along with our intellect. When he makes us uneasy, then we understand that uneasiness was necessary for us. So that once and for all everything is settled. Otherwise, suppose somebody says something, it's a philosophy, it will still be there in our mind. We have, only when we have direct experience, it gets cleared. Like that, so many incidents. Anything else? Today, we also thought of sharing some anecdotes based upon this, on shelf to self, a project of linking Bhagavad Gita to our daily life. The Bhagavad Gita book is in the shelf. We revere it. Another expression is from reverence to relevance. We revere the book, but hardly we recognize its relevance in our day-to-day activities. My professional life, my social life, my family life. So with that in view, he prompted us to undertake a in-depth study. We are still in the study. So now slowly we have been able to identify 6 slokas from 18 chapters, about 108 slokas. Not the textual study, because we don't know Sanskrit. We have never been with any traditional guru. So the who teaches, all the Vedas, Shastras, we did not have that privilege. So that limitation is there. But at the same time, we had the privilege of hearing Gita lectures in such a way that it is not a lecture. And through saints, God made us understand, at least intellectually, that it has got its own relevance in our day-to-day life. So how to link it, we did not have the mechanism, or what you call methodology. So for the past 3-4 months, we have been sitting on it, and he made us to identify these 18 slokas. 108 slokas. And what is the criteria? The moment we go through any slokas, not on the chronological order, we just go through the one particular sloka's meaning when we read. If there is an alignment from inside, again read it, find why that alignment came, and then bring out an example, connect it with it. Like that was the process. We cannot link it 100%, because what had happened 6,000 years ago cannot become that in today, 2025. So we take the essence of it and then link it, not verbatim. So many of you might have heard that. For the sake of newcomers, we just say that. So first, when we started in first chapter, in the 21-22 stanza, Senayor Upayor Madhye Ratam Stapaya Me Achyuta. So he says, you take my chariot, Arjuna says to Lord Krishna, place it in between the 2 rows of armies trying to fight each other. Let me see with whom I should. That is the literal meaning. So when we look at it, what should it mean? Today, why should I read that? I am not in the Bhagavad Gita, I have Mahabharata war. I have got my own field. How does it help me? Then immediately, when we become intense, we get the guideline. Yes, before plunging, evaluate before you plunge everything. This is the theory. He did not straight away started attacking. He wanted to know. That means evaluate before plunging into action in anything and everything. Oh, so that means Gita is getting connected to my daily life, whether in the family level or the professional level or the social level or the individual level. Before I plunge into any activities, I must properly evaluate, not just getting into it. So what is the example then? You want to cross from the road, one side of the road to the other side. What do you do naturally? You will look at each side, no? Then only you cross. Otherwise, what happens? We know. Accident will come. Evaluate before you proceed. Now it's become clear. So like that, we are able to do on 108. And now, the next phase is that we would like to interact with people and how they view it. For this, we understood that we should have some background about Bhagavad Gita. So first what we did was 18 chapters when we go through. It's something like a mansion, no? 18-roomed mansion, we can say. Each room is specification is different. So we have the feeling when we enter into, when we move from one room to another, something should stand. So we take the essence as he prompts us from within. It need not be the essence of X, Y, and Z. What one particular chapter stands for, according to you. Then we make a chart. So that gives us the basic idea of that chapter. So for example, chapter number 1, there are 47 shlokas. It is named as Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Delusion born out of me and mine. There could be so many things, but what struck to us was the first sloka. Gita starts with that. Dhritarashtra is asking Sanjaya in the Kurukshetra, my children and Pandu's children, what are they doing? He is an emperor, he is supposed to be equal to everybody. So Pandavas were denied of their rightful share. It was denied to them. Lord Krishna took up the role of a middleman. Mediator, correct, mediator. So he went there for talks. They refused. Finally, he asked 5 houses. That was also denied. 5 houses, the whole property, okay. Even that was denied. That is how the war became necessary. So the war became necessary because Dhritarashtra did not exercise his power. Give them 5 at least, or 5 villages, 5 houses. He did not say that. That is why he says his moha to his children. My son, Mamaka Pandavaschiva. My son and Pandu's son. Pandu's son is separate for him. So we will view it. This is the whole thing of Bhagavad Gita. From moha to nirmoha. 18th chapter is Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. So the first chapter is delusion born out of me and mine. Second chapter, 72 shlokas, Sankhya Yoga. So some contents, 72 means you cannot bring it out, however much you try. So a few. Immortality and indivisibility of the self, Atman. Perishability of the body. Act while not expecting the fruit. Self-control. Equanimity of the mind. Efficiency in action. So we choose, God has given us some tendencies in our mind, positive. So it goes and chooses from this 72. A man of steady wisdom, he explains in 18 slokas, Sthita Prajna. So we are trying to get that, immortality and indivisibility of the self. Because Sri Krishna points out that you are not killing anybody. It is all the play. I have already done that. It's all a play that is going on. Because the self is immortal. And he gives out so many slokas. And then perishability of the body, that is also there. Jadasya hidru. When somebody is born, they have to die. We all know that. So that is also pointed out. Then act while not expecting the fruit. Many of you might know that. Karmanye vadigaraste mavaleshu vadeja. Then Then self-control. He says, when the tortoise, when it knows that something is going to happen, immediately it will withdraw to its shelf. It's protected. Self-control. Then equanimity of the mind. Sthita prajnasya kabhasha. He lists about it. Dukheshu anidvigyamana, sukheshu vikataspraha, vitaraga vayakru. Like that he keeps on in trying. We still remember Swami Chinmayanandaji's words. Thrilling, he starts explaining on those days. 18 superb strokes, these are the words he used, on the canvas of your mind. The Lord is painting it with strokes, 18 superb strokes, so that it gets imprinted in your heart. So, and equanimity and efficiency in action. He says, yoga karma sukhaushala. Whatever you do it with dexterity, efficiency in action. And then third chapter, 43 slokas, is called Karma Yoga. Act with dispassion, act with freedom from attachment and aversion. We are not just reading it, with example. Example drawn from not Puranic days, example drawn from our contemporary life. Then only it becomes clear. Otherwise we are Control C, Control V, copy paste, we are doing it. Fourth chapter, 42 slokas, Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. While in action, not becoming aware of the same and feeling the action in inaction. And here I have a quick go through. Everywhere is stuck. Then fifth chapter, 29, Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Feel detached from action while actions are going on. Sixth chapter, 47 slokas, Atma Samyama Yoga. Moderation. Yuktahara viharasya. Moderation in sleep, moderation in food, moderation in work, moderation in rest. Everywhere. One-pointed devotion, evenness of mind. All these things are elaborately touched in sixth. Then seventh chapter, Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Origin of our multivarious creation, para and apara. Source is one and the same. It is in this sloka, he brings out that beautiful word, Bijam Mam Sarva Bhutanam. The eternal seed is one. And then eighth chapter, Akshara Brahma Yoga, 28 sloka. Something that highlights about death. Need to become aware of the inevitability of the death phenomenon and remember him at the time of death. Prayana Kaleja. Then, 9th chapter, 34, Rajavidya Rajaguhya Yoga. Everything is in him while he is not to be limited in anything. Whatever we do is to be offered to him. Vinobaji used to say, beautiful that word, it is an express highway. You don't have to bother about anything. You can just drive. Because when you feel, Rajavidya Rajaguhya Yoga means seeing him in anything and everything. There is no selection. You don't have to say this is spiritual, this is worldly. Everything is spiritual. Every act is spiritual. So he says it is an express highway where you don't have to think about anything. Yat karoshi, that's the sloga is there. Whatever you do, whatever you talk, whatever you think, it comes out of anything that comes out of you, it's all to him, by him, to him, through him, in him. All these things we can add. And then 10th chapter, 42 slokas, Vibhuti Yoga. Realize the eternal ephemeral nature, freedom from delusion, patience, adherence to truth, control, equal vision, non-violence, concentration, etc. are his Vibhuti. The Nirguna nature, not merely seeing him in a form. He brings out I am that, I am in this, I am Savarana, I am Himalaya. Means, no, he will say that. One example he will bring. And the 11 is 55 Vishwadrupa Darshan. He is present in different manifestations as different attributes. Just like from head to toe, I am there, but all the organs are functioning differently, Just think about it. Eyes are not nose, nose is not tongue, tongue is not skin, hands are not legs, legs are not this. So many, all different functions. But I am there, Think. So, and then 12th chapter, 20 slokas, Bhakti Yoga, definition of the dearest devotee of God. If I keep on tom-tomming that I am the devotee, no. He should say he is my devotee. So for that, how do I qualify myself? That he has beautifully built. Adveshta Sarvabhutanam. And then 34 slokas, Kshetra Kshetratnya Vibhagayo. Separate the body and knower of the body by following the values. Amanitvam, Adambitvam, Ahimsa, Shantirarjavam. It starts right. So we separate, Sift between material and spiritual. Beautifully. And then comes 14th, 27, Gunatraya Vibhagayo. So that's very important. All of us are acting because of the inherent gunas in us. This Rajasic, Tamasic, Sattvic. To what degree it is there, that is as we progress, more will be Sattvic. And if we alienate ourselves from it, more will be Tamasic or Rajasic. And then 15th chapter, 20th, Purushottama Yoga. To know him is jnana, to love him is bhakti, to serve him is karma. There are only two beings in this world, the perishable and the imperishable. At the same time, there is Purushottama, pervading everything, sustaining everything. As soon as the life ebbs away, decomposition starts, There is life in it, not in the way in which we understand. This present body may not emit bad smell. But the moment I die, after a few hours, suppose on the first day we are unable to take the body, immediately we have to do something. The decomposition has taken place. That means what? Some activity is going on by the bacteria, by something. So, perishable, imperishable, and Purushottama. Prakriti, Purusha, and Purushottama. That is how the triangle. Then 16th chapter, 24 slokas, Devasura Sampat Vibhagayo. In all of us, we have got these positive down-pulling forces as well as elevating forces. Devasura Sampat, Deva Sampat, Asuri Sampat. So we have to be alert. Elaborately as discussed. Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhi, it starts, And then, next 17th, 28 slokas, Shraddhatraya Vibhagayo. Austerity in body, mind and speech, Sattvic in food, Yajna, Dana, Tapas. Without Shraddha, when austerity is performed, it is called Asat. Attentively, Anything that we do, it should be done with Shraddha. Anything that we do. So, which is very important. And the last one is 78 slokas, he closes. Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. Total surrender clears our delusion, resulting in total effacement of the sense of individuality, thus becoming one with him. That means we should become zero, that's all. Not physically zero. The sense of individuality, when it becomes zero, it always draws its power from him. And one more point we will add now. Very important. Though he gave us this, he did not impose. He did not ask us to take it as a dictum or a dogma. Beautiful, that particular sloka, 63. I have told you everything. Now assimilate. Iti te jnanamakyatam guhyad guhyataram maya vimurshyaitat asheshena yatechasi tadaguru. You go through it, no? You do your thinking. Vimarsha buddhya. Do manana, see whether it is right or wrong, and then do what you are prompted from within. Crux of Sanatana Dharma, no? It doesn't impose anything. Because of our varied activities, we are likely to get so many concepts, so many views, biased views or opposite views. So we should not take anything like that. We take it, and Papa's word is, be reflective and meditative, always. In any subject, don't do this. He said, not like dumb-driven cattle. These are the words Papa uses. The cattle, somebody does, it goes along with that. Dumb-driven cattle. No. He wants every one of us to be the light unto yourself, and in your own way, bring out the magnificence in you. Be highly creative. Be highly creative. These are Papa's strong words for us. You bring out in your own way. He will say, be a creator of your own thoughts. That means a lot of no dictum dogma. We are not just following. Then, after some time, when there is a crisis, we will not be able to get the answer. But when we go through the whole thing by ourselves, get ourselves convinced, then for that they give us some guidance, masters, shastras. But rest of the things we have to do it by ourselves. So that will also be there. That is also there in the 18th chapter. And he has placed it in 18th chapter. There are 78 slokas. Up to 62, he keeps on telling so many things. But in 63, he gives us the freedom. And Vinobaji puts it in a different way. He gives you freedom to act, but out of his love, he takes back that freedom. Because the moment, he says, a slave is, Swami Ramtirtha used to say, a slave is a slave
Because he's free.
because he is free. Because the master is he, Master is handed over. So he is free. Technically, for our practical this thing, we may say he is a slave. But that slave is free mentally when he is handed over. So in that context, Vinobaji says, he gave full freedom, and at the same time, out of compassion, he said, took back that freedom. Because he wants we should become zero. This is how the in-depth study was started, and then we try to select some slokas. Tomorrow we will try to share some slokas. And
A question has been lurking in my mind for the last more than a week. I did not have the courage to disturb you when you were talking about bhakta and sadhaka. A bhakta who surrenders everything, sacrifices everything, including wife and children, though he is taking care of them. You say that he is not a sadhaka.
No. Sadhaka and difference is only exclusively for a devotee asks so many things.
Yeah.
Among that, he is also asking.
Yeah.
Sadhaka is only asking for God realization.
What is it wrong in sacrificing everything for the sake of God?
You can interpret it in any way.
Yeah.
In your mind, there is only one goal
Then
to
what is the
it.
place of Janaka and Sudama?
Let us reach that stage.
Swamiji, this is
No, it is not like that. Janaka became realized soul, then only he became a king.
He is sadhaka or bhakta?
He is a realized soul. He is a
My
realized soul.
point is either this or
No.
that.
We cannot place ourselves in their position. We have still in our mind likes and dislikes, rights and wrongs, preferences, priorities. Only when these are taken away and pointed out, I am nothing, you are nothing. That stage, that is sadhaka stage. We are comparing what is our present stage. We take a stock. We have got these likes and dislikes, rights and wrongs, preferences and priorities, infatuations.
Still he is good at his sadhana. He is
No,
excellent
no, if
in
he,
sadhana.
you can choose anything.
Yeah.
But this is what Swamiji meant by telling in that particular this thing. Sadhaka, and the difference between sadhaka and bhakta is, bhakta prays for so many things. Along with that, he also prays. But a sadhaka is only aspiring for God realization. So whether to choose, I should become a sadhaka, that means as we keep on going it, we realize the futility of all that we have been praying for. And then we try to drop one by one and concentrate on, I want to become one with you. That's all. You are within me. You have been within me. I have not been able to understand. And once I reach that, whether I do a Grihastha life, whether I do a professional life, whether I do a social life, it does not matter. That is what Janagas, he has reached that stage. Then there is no problem. You have insulated yourself. You will not get affected at all. Huh?
விஸ்வரூப தரிசனம் சொல்லவே இல்லையே.
विश्वरूप दर्शन சொன்னோமே.
11th chapter.
சொன்னோமே. கேட்கலையே நீங்கள்.
நினைக்கிறேன்.
அதான் விஸ்வரூப 11th chapter நம்ம சொன்னோமே. He is present in different manifestations. என்ன? சரி சரி, நாளைக்கு பார்க்குறோம். ஹரி ஓம் ஹரி ஓம் ஹரி ஓம். ஓம் ஸ்ரீரா ஓம் ஸ்ரீராம் ஜெய் ராம் ஜெய் ஜெய் ராம ஓம் ராம் ஜெய் ராம் ஜெய் ஜெய் ராம ஓம் ஸ்ரீ ராம் ஜெய் ராம் ஜெய் ஜெய் ராம ஓம் Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Hari Om. Pranam. Hari Om. Namaskaram.
We close.
Petty.
Swamiji, they are telling pranams.
Pranam. Hari Om.